All right, Kathys, we are back with another episode of Group Chat. We're coming in hot. We have a huge meeting happening right now in China, California, aka San Francisco.
Yeah.
The red carpet, and I mean red, communist red carpet that San Francisco is rolling out for Xi Jinping is out of control. One, we talked about the cleanup already. The whole city is beautiful. You know, Gavin Newsom just getting roasted for of course, we cleaned it up for this guy. Today, Biden and Xi Jinping are meeting right now.
Yeah, so Xi came to San Francisco yesterday afternoon. Mm-hmm. I watched the arrival on Bloomberg.
Yeah.
It's very ceremonial.
Obviously.
And the military was greeting him. What I thought was actually funny is, there's like a whole army of SUVs and bulletproof cars. Mm-hmm. And obviously the one that he's in, there's two Chinese guys that run next to the car.
Like Secret Service.
Yeah, they're Secret Service. And they run only for like 10, 20 feet.
Yep.
And then they disappear.
Okay.
And that's on the tarmac. So what do you think the security protocol is like? Is it just to show off like, hey, I have these two Chinese guys running? Because what are they preventing? Because they stopped after 10 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit of a showmanship, a little bit of is just some protocol that they probably do in China, and they just have to recreate it.
The amount of logistics that probably took to get him to San Francisco, from a security perspective. I had a Zoom actually with someone in San Francisco this morning. He said it's a complete disaster. Yeah. Xi's actually meeting Biden right now in Woodside, San Francisco, or Woodside, Northern California.
Yeah.
Friend who lives there said there's armed guards everywhere.
Yeah.
Armed guards at the coffee shop, armed guards at the restaurants.
Well, I mean, it's the two most powerful people on earth.
And everyone's making fun of the U.S. for doing the parade where he drove through San Francisco and the Chinese national anthem was blaring.
It is a little ridiculous.
It was pre-negotiated.
Yeah.
These are how these meetings happen. If I'm going to come here, come to the U.S., I'm going to come to San Francisco. It's already bending the knee because he hasn't been here in 6 years.
Yeah.
So they're like, we need some concessions.
Yeah. You got to make it look like you're kissing our ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I still think it's a massive deal that Xi showed up to San Francisco.
Yeah, Xi, these are the first early highlights of the conversation. Xi tells Biden protectionism is weighing on global economy. So that's clearly, he's saying that it's affecting Chinese trade. Xi tells Biden planet Earth is big enough for both countries to succeed. That's amazing. Xi tells Biden U.S. China should be fully capable of climbing above differences. And lastly, he says they should shoulder heavy responsibility for world and history. So it's pretty
it's a pretty monumental meeting, in my opinion, because all we've heard is that we're at the brink of war with China.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in an information war. We know that.
Yeah.
We've been talking about that. They're spying on us. We're spying on them. But they know they're the only two countries that matter.
Yeah.
And you both need each other.
Yeah.
They're the only two economies that matter.
I would say India is like India. I never was a believer in India.
India's 20 years ago from where China was.
Yeah,
so I think it's going to take because technology exists, it's going to happen faster.
I think it's 10 years.
Yeah, I think it's 10 years. Divide it by 2. But if you look at where they are right now, they're probably 20 years behind, but they'll make up.
But the middle class in India is happening so fast, which is what changed China, right? Consumption changed China. All of a sudden, their middle class had money. They were buying real estate. They were buying clothes. They were traveling. Yep. That's happening in India now. But yeah, I mean, look, this meeting is very important for world.
And he even conceded on fentanyl. He's like, we need to work on that. We need to stop killing your people.
Yeah. That is going to be a lot tougher because he would have to just clamp down on it 100%. He can't just let some fentanyl come into the market.
I think he'll just crack down on 30% of the cartels.
Yeah.
So if we see a reduction in opioids.
Yeah, you would have to see a mega reduction for me to believe anything was done. Not 10%. I'm talking the laws could drop at 10%. Like the real thing is going to be.
And honestly, everyone has been scared of China invading Taiwan. The fact that Xi's showing up, that's probably off the table in the near term.
Yeah, I don't think there's that threat anymore. There's probably, I don't know what was discussed regarding Russia, Ukraine, because I would say that is a matter that everyone's discussing. There's no indication of their opinions on what's happening in Israel and Gaza. I didn't see any opinions on that yet. The one thing that did come out of, I guess one of the reporters asked Biden and the White House in general that they are confirming that the hospital in question is where Hamas is located. So if the U.S. is acknowledging that, then that means the IDF is just going to go after it full force. If U.S. is saying, yes, they're there. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think
they were looking for that okay from
dating back to Bill Clinton. There's speeches that are coming up, resurfacing from like 2016, where he said this is how they work.
Yeah. So I think Israel needed that cover to continue doing what they're doing. Otherwise, they're going to continue to get backlash too. But I think this gives them, it's true, this is what's happening. And so they have the ability now to go full force. So look, politically, there are a lot of things that are very scary right now between what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Russia, Ukraine. And, you know, a lot of people, China's kind of loosely involved with everything too. Like how US is loosely involved with everything. So I think it'll be really, I'm curious to see, I'm sure there's private discussions and public discussions, but what are the discussions happening privately? Because there is a lot of like war stuff going on.
Yeah, but I do think this meeting, for me at least, is a big relief because that's the elephant in the room in the world. Obviously, there's terrible things going on in the Middle East. There's terrible things going on in Russia, Ukraine. But if U.S. and China were to be in an immense conflict, the whole world ends.
Yeah.
And him showing up after Putin went to China, you know, less than 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it's, of all the turmoil that's going on, I think it's comforting that the two most important countries in the world are trying to work together.
Yeah, that's great. It's exciting. And it's great timing.
And it shows, honestly, a few things. Forget militarily, China's economy is in shambles.
Yes, that is.
And Xi had to show up
Yeah.
to basically fix his economy.
Yeah, because one is the Trump tariffs are still in place. That has not been repealed.
Mm-hmm.
That is a problem still to this day. Like, that should be off the table now. It's only going to help the American. You want deflation? Fucking get rid of tariffs for a year.
Yeah.
You'll get insane product coming into this country.
I can't wait to read however the event was because it'll release the photos.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening right now and tonight.
Yeah.
Like, where's he staying? I Googled it. I couldn't find it.
Maybe he's not staying in. May not be staying.
He got in yesterday.
Oh.
The meeting's today.
Probably Sequoia.
At their offices.
Founder of Sequoia's house. They're big China.
Yeah, Sequoia's huge in China. So I just Googled it. Xi's staying at the St. Regis in San Francisco.
Oh, in downtown.
Downtown.
That's a horrible neighborhood.
They cleaned it up for him, though. Do you know how dangerous that area was?
Yeah.
Or is?
Yeah.
So,
well, obviously, there's a 50 million armed guards there. What are you going to do?
So, yeah. I've been to that hotel.
All right, let's move on to other big news. Prices are officially falling. There was a producer price index and wholesale index. All of it showed a decline in the month of October. There's a chart here on CNBC showing the deflation that's happening in certain categories. Eggs down 22%. Butter down 3.7%. Fresh fish and seafood down 3.6%. Whole milk's down. Cheese is down. Fresh and frozen chicken parts are down. Energy, fuel, oil down 21%.
Yeah, they said 80% of the producer price index consists of gasoline prices.
Yes. And so we saw the drop happen in the latter part of October is when gas started tumbling. In November, it's continued to tumble. So you should see a pretty big decline in prices in November. And then gasoline itself went down 5.6%, which is annoying because fuel's down 20%, but gas is only down 5%.
And the CPI cooled off.
Yeah.
So it was expected 3.3% inflation. It was 3.2.
Health insurance is saying it's down 34%. I do not know where that's coming from. That I do not believe. That seems like fraud.
That health insurance is down?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Maybe.
Who is paying less health insurance?
But I think from the economy perspective, just if you think about the stock market, so stock market and real economy are completely different. The Fed's neutered.
Yeah.
So now the markets are pricing in a Fed cut.
Yeah.
In the first half of next year.
So they're betting on a March cut and they're betting on 1% next year.
There's a UBS analyst that thinks 2.5% next year. Cut.
Well, I mean, that's building your own book.
So March, I think it's like a 30-40% anticipation, like the odds market.
I don't believe in March at all.
So, but the first half, so like call it June, they're saying it's baked in. There's a cut. What the cut is it 25? Is it 50 basis points? But it has a massive impact because real estate becomes investable again if rates start coming down.
You save the real estate market.
You save the real estate market, and the stock market
loves no interest.
Loves low interest. So what I've realized in my adulthood is nothing matters in the real economy as it pertains to the stock market. All that matters is interest rates.
Yeah.
So the market ripped this week.
Yeah.
Solely based on this odds market saying the Fed's neutered.
It's insane. The market's on fire.
Market's on fire, and I think you're going to see like a 15-20% jump next year with rates coming down.
Yeah. I think I'm finding it hard to believe March will have an interest rate cut.
If March happens, holy shit.
Yeah. I think the only way March happens, I think that all the inflation targets are going to hit. I think on March happens if the real estate market is just like single family homes collapse for some reason. Like that will scare. I don't think commercial real estate scares the Fed. They don't give a shit.
No, they don't care because it's a very niche group that it affects.
Exactly. So they don't care about that. I think if single family homes get affected, like you start seeing price decreases in the big markets, then I think the Fed does it. Otherwise, I think summer they have no choice. They'll have to do it.
What the Fed accomplished by raising interest rates as quickly as they did, because they've created regional banks are not in the business of what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Meaning they're not deploying capital. They're not able to raise loans because it's a function of deposits. So you need a lot of deposits.
Yeah.
And then based on the regulations, you're allowed to loan against those deposits.
Yeah.
All they've done is created King Jamie Dimon.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one with, like, I was trying to think about it. If you're a rich guy, a rich company with a lot of cash outside of tech, because I know Silicon Valley Bank has their, a lot of favorable stuff they do for tech companies. Why would you put your money in a regional bank? Because they can't even loan anymore.
Yeah. There's no point.
With interest rates at the way they are. Because how they got rich people to go to regional banks is to give like favorable loans for apartments and buildings that you wanted to buy that JP Morgan and Wells Fargo wouldn't do. Now that's off the table.
Yep.
So I would assume there's just going to be a bleed of deposits away from regional banks because there's no incentive.
Well, if the interest rates go down, I think it'll change overnight. I think the party starts fast.
So they start giving the ridiculous loans they used to?
That will never change. Like, once the interest rates go down, everyone's feeling good.
It's probably 18 months away, though.
Maybe.
Because it has to go down significantly. Even if you only cut a point next year.
Point's a lot.
But for a regional bank, it's not.
Yeah.
Because they're not attracting deposits.
Yeah.
Like if you came in, let's say you sold your company and you had we're just making up numbers, a $250 million windfall.
Yeah.
Where are you banking?
With Jamie fucking Dimon.
Exactly. That's my point.
Putting $250 million in fucking Pac West.
That's my point. What, like,
but I think the where you get,
they'd be like, "I'll get you that $50 million house, give you $49 million loan."
Yes, and they'll do it. That's what First Republic did, right?
Yeah.
First Republic took care of the wealthy people. Like, people have 0% loans from First Republic just to get them to give their deposits.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, I've never had money like that. Fuck, maybe I'm with Pac West. They're like, here, 0 down. Here's a $50 million house. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's how they got all the deposits.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a regional bank guy.
Yeah. Hopefully you sell your business, and I can't wait to see where you bank.
It's like one of those like chop shop banks. They got one
branch.
One branch in like Fresno. The Farmers Bank.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're just handing out loans. That's amazing. Really, really, really interesting. So I've had a Delta American Express card for 21 years. I don't know why. I think I was at an airport right out of college, and they were like, hey, if you sign up for this credit card, we'll like upgrade you today. Something crazy. You know, it was a time when airports were not busy. That's what I remember. And I signed up, and I sporadically used the card, you know, in probably my first 10 years of having the card. And then maybe the last 3 to 5 years, I actually started using the card because I was exclusively flying Delta. So I saw like the benefits of getting points and miles and whatever. So I'm a loyal Delta American Express holder. Sounds like nearly everyone else is. The spending on Delta's American Express card is nearly 1% of the entire U.S. gross domestic product. Delta collects nearly $7 billion in revenue from American Express on this card. That's nearly equal to the amount the airline generated from flying passengers in 2022.
Once they hit 10 billion.
What?
Once they hit 10 billion. So the long-term goal is to get to 10 billion in fees from the card.
Yeah.
And that will equal.
Once they hit 10 billion. Yeah. That's insane.
So
it's just profit.
It's just profit. So the airline's just a marketing, because airlines don't make money. Those are like sub 5% margins. So it's just a marketing angle to get you to use their credit card, because that's where the profit is.
Yeah.
And people that use these cards, to be clear, once you get a lot of points, unless you're those like million point users,
it's useless.
It's completely useless.
I have whatever the highest status is, platinum medallion, diamond medallion, whatever the fucking highest thing is, I have it.
And you still don't book a coach flight to get upgraded because you don't get upgraded.
Yeah, like if I go to San Francisco, maybe I get upgraded. If it's a short flight, I don't pay for, you know.
But LA, New York, zero chance.
I've never tried it, and the flights I take are actually inexpensive because they're red eyes. Like the business class is relatively inexpensive. If I were to fly like the 4 p.m., those are like $4,000. Where it's like substantially cheaper. It's like 50, 60, 70% cheaper if you fly like shitty times. I take the 6 a.m. out of JFK.
Yeah. Business people don't want to work.
No, they want the chairman flight.
The chairman flight.
The 10 a.m.
Yeah, 10 a.m. You lose the whole work day.
That's what they want.
Sail right into dinner.
Cocktails. But man, it really makes you think about like in all of these major businesses, where do the profits really come from? Like they're like hustling to run this airline and they're shitting $7 billion of cash.
I mean, even Amazon, forget the cloud business, the margins in the ads business.
Yeah.
It's growing like crazy.
Yeah.
That's full margin.
I think there's a saying in marketplaces is basically every marketplace's goal is to be an ad business, right? Like you have that much traffic.
Just get the traffic and get the...
Yeah, you need the critical mass. But holy shit, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
But why Delta? So does that mean the United card's doing the same?
I think... Yeah, I mean, I
because United and Delta, I would guess, are similar in volume.
I think United has not an Amex, like a Chase, or I see a lot of people with it when they pay for shit. But this is like unbelievable. It's fascinating.
They also, because I had to book a few flights and they try to scam you at checkout to make you get the card. So you can get 20% off the flight.
Yeah. It works.
I'm sure it works.
I mean, do you know how many people book trip insurance? Do you know how many people sign up every day for trip insurance?
Have you ever tried to redeem money from an insurance claim? That you, like, so bought insurance, missed the flight. Apparently...
I've never bought insurance.
So I bought insurance on a flight that I knew was 50-50 whether we could go. And we couldn't go. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
It took 4 to 6 months to get the money back.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And you had to keep giving paperwork.
Yeah.
And they now taunt you because I don't book flights like you do. But the last few flights, they say, whoa, when you say no to insurance.
Yeah.
They literally put whoa with the exclamation point.
They want to scare you.
Try to scare you to give them the insurance money.
That's predatory.
It is predatory. Like, how can you say whoa?
None of the Gen Z is going to get that reference.
I think that should be some sort of consumer protection.
Yeah.
Just say, okay, cool. You don't want insurance.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it's rough. I mean, obviously we are not running Delta, so can't help them there. But every airline does it.
Yeah. 100%.
The other day I booked United to go to San Francisco. And the flight was like $150. And then we went to go select the seats. This is to go to San Francisco 2 weeks ago. To select any seat, I had to pay $25 a seat. Any seat. I'm like, I'll take any seat. You charge me $25 a seat? Fucking nuts.
And they still can't make money.
With a credit card. All right, moving on. I think the big news is really that oil is tumbling. I actually think it's like mega news that it's tumbling. The big thing that everyone is, I think I'm surprised by the most is Saudi Arabia, Russia, Iran are cutting oil production. United States grew its export of oil, grew the production of oil, and the prices keep dropping. So, and everyone even says that in China is now starting to see demand back, but it's still pretty predominantly weak. So we may have escaped like a serious oil shock, or it's temporary. We don't know. It's not the cold winter yet, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But the fact that oil is just not an impact on pricing right now is like, it's kind of mind-boggling to me. That means demand is so low in the global economy. Like, I think if we think US is slow, like Japan contracted last quarter.
GDP? Yeah.
China's GDP is fake, but so they contracted.
So imagine what it really was.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I mean, if they're cutting supply, it's interesting because the economies are still relatively strong around the world. America, definitely.
We don't know what's happening in the rest of the world.
That's true.
We don't have a sense of what's really happening. I could tell you that like early indications that consumer spending in the Middle East has softened because of everything that's happened there. Like there is tension there.
And you can't ship to Russia unless you're one of these, random countries that have ties. So yeah, it makes sense, I guess. Demand's soft because you have like now 2 regions of the world that you can't really ship to.
Yep. exactly.
And they're forecasting it, so they have to cut the prices.
Yeah, exactly. And then the fact that they're just aggressively cutting supply means that they're worried that demand is so weak that the prices are going to collapse.
Did you see that container that was carrying liquid natural gas? They paid $4 million to jump the line in the Panama Canal to get through.
Yeah, I heard about it. I didn't follow the story.
Because you can't have it not stored properly long enough, so the container would just be worthless. And I didn't know you could just pay to jump the line.
You could pay to jump any line.
I know you can, like, privately. I didn't know it was going to be so you could publicly do that.
I mean, yeah, maybe it wasn't intended to be public. But yes, you can jump the line anywhere in life. That is a big takeaway.
But why is the Panama Canal jammed up still?
Is it?
I mean, if this company had to pay $4 million,
I think there's just a line generally in Panama Canal. I don't know if it's like any more worse than it normally is.
Mm-hmm. We should ask Pete Buttigieg.
What happened to that guy? Is he still around?
They kind of sidelined him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's an idiot.
Yeah.
What are you going to let that guy... By the way, it was going to be my loser of the week, but it's such an important topic that I want to address it before we move on to winners, losers content. In LA, as of Saturday, so if you live in LA, you know what's happening. If you don't live in LA, let me explain it to you. The 10 freeway. The 10 freeway is basically, if you think about downtown as the heart of the city, like literally a heart, and there are valves that go into a heart.
So like the way to get to downtown from Santa Monica is the 10 freeway.
10 freeway. The entire west side of LA flows through the 10 freeway to get to downtown. And there's so many millions of people that live between the ocean and downtown. And there's other arteries. There's like the 101. There's on the other side, there's the 60 and 5 and all of these ways to get to downtown LA.
And even beyond.
Beyond.
I mean, the 10 goes across the whole country.
Goes to Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me tell you something. If you're in Santa Monica today and you want to go to Florida, you can't. Okay? The entire fucking freeway is closed because of the fire that happened over the weekend that was clearly started by a homeless encampment. They're calling it arson. No one set the fire to fuck up the freeway. No, they set fire to, they were probably trying to keep warm and burn this damn structure to the ground. They then came out and said that it's 3 to 5 weeks to fix. Do you understand the cost, the productivity loss? Do you know how bad the traffic was in LA last night? I couldn't go a fucking mile. The freeway, the roads are, we're not even close. We're 8 miles away. To go home yesterday took me 30 minutes. Every street going, depending on the flow of traffic. So like going east at night is so slammed. It's insane. All this to say is that people don't realize the secondary impact of just bad policy. Like on the homelessness front, like I'm begging Xi to make a stop in LA tomorrow.
Yeah, we said that. Just do a little drive-by.
Quick drive-by, because look at the impact. The homeless encampment. Do you know how many people have to leave for work early, are going to be late to work, late to drop off their kids, childcare issues, how much more time we're all going to sit in the cars? This is costing $10 billion.
Our friend who lives in Calabasas to get to West Hollywood, I've done the drive. It's probably typically 45 minutes to 55 minutes. He said it took an hour and a half.
Yes. Next 5 weeks, it's going to be like that.
Yeah. Because you have to go that way. You just go around.
Yeah.
You can't.
And everyone is going every which way. Like it was yesterday, last night, I left the office at like 6-ish. It takes me normally 12 minutes to get home. I got home 6:30 and I'm going north. Bear in mind, I am not even going east. Every street was slammed going east.
I was at one of the venues we frequent, which you know, and you know where I live. It normally takes 4 minutes. It took 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's because of bottleneck of this.
Yeah, because everyone's like, I can't go down to the 10.
Yeah.
Just go on any street that's going east. Even in the morning today, going west, holy shit. Sunset was so crowded.
Yeah, it was on Sunset.
Yeah.
It was bumper to bumper.
It took me 7 minutes to go a block today.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Because it's a 10 from where to where that's closed. Downtown to where?
Just in that whole pocket. It's just like...
You have to close the whole freeway because you can't get through.
Yeah. I got a notice, I don't know if you did, at 6:15 last night that said someone driving the wrong way on the 10. I think people have lost their mind. They're just like, fuck it, I'll go the other way.
I mean, I don't know. When you were going to the warehouse, you said you used to see people on the 101 just walking around.
Oh, yeah. All day. Always
Is
people
that
walking
still
around.
happening?
I don't know. I haven't been down there in a while. I'll have to check. I mean, I guarantee you, people are going to lose their fucking mind in traffic.
Yeah, because if you're adding 50% to your commute time.
By the way, do you know what the busiest travel day of the year is?
It's coming up.
Fucking Wednesday. Next Wednesday.
Yeah, the 10's closed.
And the 10's closed. I mean, it might need to be a federal holiday.
I wonder if getting to LAX, have you gone since the 10's closed? Not yet?
No. I go next week, though.
Probably a disaster.
Probably have to leave 7 hours before your flight.
Yeah. I'm actually going tomorrow.
It's a disaster. You should take a train if you can.
There's no train that gets you to LAX.
There is. You have to go downtown.
Yeah, how am I getting downtown?
Take a train. It's so fucked. The 10 closed is so insane to me. Do you know how bad the traffic's going to be for the holidays? It's just
it's 3 to 5 weeks from this week. So it might go through Christmas.
Yeah, it could easily flow through Christmas.
And you know it's going to be late. It's not 5.
Yeah, it's New Year's Eve.
It's probably second week of Jan.
Yeah.
And why can't they build it faster? They didn't burn down the whole freeway. It's just one section.
I think it fucked the structure of the freeway up pretty badly. It's insane. They better clear up every encampment underneath a freeway now. It's getting cold. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to start a fucking fire. What do you do when it's cold?
And did anyone even get arrested? I didn't see anyone get arrested for it.
Why would you get arrested? No one gets arrested. For what? The crime you have to commit to get arrested
We saw.
What? Yes, it's murder. By the way, another hot piece of content if you live in LA. This is insane, actually. On Wilshire Boulevard, yesterday, full-blown murder.
It looked like a scene out of The Negotiator. I know I'm aging myself. Where there's just fugitive, just cops everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
US
Fugitive
Marshals,
is more like it because it was U.S. Marshals.
And they had a command post, which is I've never seen.
Yeah.
So apparently the LAPD has this like size of 2 trailers, and they just set up like comms.
Yeah.
Cops.
U.S. Marshals basically gunned down a suspect in front of our office. It's insane. It's literally insane. In the middle of the day, everyone heard the shots.
11 a.m. What was really suspicious is the suspect was killed by U.S. Marshals, and security kept increasing throughout the day.
Yeah.
The guy was already dead.
Yeah.
That was a little scary.
Yeah,
why do you keep bringing more security?
Well, the cover-up starts.
Deep state.
Deep state.
It definitely was deep state.
Yeah. The Clintons, huh?
Bill Gates, Clintons. maybe he's connected to Epstein.
I mean, it's just, you never know. Everything's on the table as far as I'm concerned.
So I could give it a little more detail because we obviously have been here for over 10 years. The guy who got gunned down went to the pharmacy that I've known the pharmacist for over 10 years, picks up medication, and because I talked to her yesterday after it happened, and she said he walks out. You have to walk in through a very small lobby.
Yeah.
And there's an elevator to like the medical buildings. And she went on about her business. And all of a sudden, U.S. Marshals storm in and just fucking murder this guy.
Wow. Insane.
We're never going to find out what really happened, but this is why people get suspicious of whatever gets reported, because none of it makes sense, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, we agree, right? It's the deep state.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Winners, losers, content. What do we got?
My winner of the week is San Francisco. They finally got the playbook of how you could clean up the city.
Yep.
You could do this now. If you can do this for a week, you can do this forever.
Okay.
I don't know where they put all the people, where they put the drugs, where they put the fentanyl, but you can clean the city up. I've said this a few weeks ago that I'm bullish on San Francisco as a city coming back. And G just made SF a viable place again. And now the local politicians don't have any excuse.
That's fair. I'm curious to see how it is in 2 weeks. Do they just drive
the
him back in?
population should just revolt if they come back in a week once he's gone.
You don't know, like, that's only a certain... There's a group of people you have to understand that think everything is mistreating people. So, and San Francisco has a lot of those people.
They do and they don't. Like, how many hippies are still in the city? It's too expensive.
Yeah, they've just been there forever. All right. My winner is RFK Jr. RFK Jr. is catching some real steam in the polls. And very interesting how it's going to play out. And if he's going to go the distance and basically fuck one of the parties up, or if he's going to drop out and, you know, like, I'm dying to know how this plays out because clearly he's made an impact. He has real numbers. He's not polling 1 point, 2 point. He's double digits in every poll. That's enough. Obviously, you know, right now Trump's leading in most national polls. Biden's down a little bit. And then so it's a coin flip for Trump and Biden at this point. And then RFK is just out there basically stealing votes I think he's stealing votes from both, but who does he steal more from?
I think he steals more from people that weren't going to vote Democratic because they were fed up with the party or fed up with this like left agenda, quote unquote. And they were looking for another candidate and they might have voted for Nikki Haley. Yeah. They might have voted for, you know, one of the more DeSantis. Yeah. And now they're voting for RFK. Like, if you think about the all-in guys, they were all done with Sleepy. Yeah. And so they're looking for a home. Yeah, yeah. And they were, you know, talking about DeSantis. I think even J. Cal, who is the only liberal on the pod, he seems like he wants to find a new home too. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of people. I think a lot of people are looking for a new home. Yeah. But interest rates are too high. Interest rates are too high. But yeah, another winner is the Biden administration. They keep executing. I know everyone wants to make fun of all the social media clips, but he got Z to America to bend the knee. Economy's very strong. GDP growth's 5% last quarter. Yeah. Job growth, low unemployment, inflation's being slayed. If he has like the main what did Clinton say in the 90s? It's the economy. Yeah, so I agree. I don't think anything matters if we're sitting here 11 months from now and gas prices are low and we're not in a recession and inflation is tamed, he wins. I no doubt he wins. If that's what it is. Because that's all anyone cares about. Yeah, well, you also look at your own life. Like, was your life worse 4 years ago? That's how people vote. Yeah. And if you're still able to pay your rent and your mortgage, you're still able to take your 2-3 vacations a year, your kids are in school. Yeah. So like, the problem is if the economy is just okay, then you start going down the list of things that matter to you. And that's where I think Biden loses. I think the immigration thing, he's not going to win on that. Like he would have to change his tone on that. Crimes continues to be an issue. Like as long as the economy is humming, then the rest of it doesn't matter.
if the economy softens at all, like we contract in Q2 of next year, then he has to then fight the other issues. Similar to like Republicans, if Biden's economy is humming, Republicans have to turn on abortion. They have to change their view immediately. Otherwise, they can fight him on an economy. But we can't even talk about the other issues if the economy is good.
Yeah.
Or if it's bad, then that's all anyone cares about. It'll be interesting. All right, loser.
My loser is actually perception of social media. We have our own friend this morning was like, Biden's the worst president of our history.
Yeah.
Like this is the worst time of our life.
Yeah.
But all indicators are the opposite. We came out of a pandemic.
Yeah.
We had roaring inflation. Everyone predicted doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But if you choose to consume that media, you think he did a terrible job when all objectively, America came out of this great. And it's undeniable.
I would say, financially, we came out of it great. On other fronts, we have failed.
I mean, every administration will have things that go bad.
But I'm not saying I would criticize anybody.
But we always say the only thing that really matters to the average person is the economy.
Economy, yeah.
And do you have money in your bank account? Can you pay for your food?
So I think if you polled people in the general population on the low income side of things, I think they're no better off than they were 4 years ago.
They're no worse off because they can all get jobs.
They have jobs, but I don't think they feel like if you took the temperature of confidence of the economy in the country, I bet you it's very low.
I also think that
inflation really
social media makes you think people care about aren't actually what people care about.
They care about money. But I think inflation was so bad the last year that I do really think it affected Joe Biden. Like people were paying so much for food and gas and this and that. Like,
but that's not a talking point anymore. Inflation's down.
I know, but you remember that recency bias is that you were dealing with that as of a month ago, right? Inflation was an issue as of a month ago. Now this month. So if it, for the purpose of election, if all of these prices come down come October of next year and unemployment stays relatively low.
And home prices stay?
Yeah. If those stay, 100% Democrats winning, even if it's not Joe Biden, Democrats win. If the economy tumbles at all, which it could, then that's different.
Do you think, I was just thinking about this, Newsom had to go to China as part of the pre-negotiated deal that he's coming to San Francisco?
Yeah.
They're like, we need someone to show up.
Yeah.
Because no one had showed up to China. Yeah. You see Janet Yellen getting in and out before she showed up to...
Really?
So she was at In and Out, wherever the San Francisco airport is.
Yeah.
And from the In and Out, had her burger and then went straight to...
That's American. I like that.
And greeted G.
Yeah.
As he came off.
That's amazing. I like that.
Do you think she brought him some In and Out?
No, he's not eating that shit.
He probably doesn't trust anyone.
Food?
Yeah.
Fuck no. I mean...
Do they bring their own ingredients?
I guarantee you, like, someone tries all his food before he eats it.
Yeah, or they bring their own ingredients. You can't trust... He of all people, can't trust any country.
I don't even think he can trust his own chef.
No,
right?
He can't.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. My loser, I kind of went on the tangent on it earlier. It's definitely LA. The traffic, what's going to happen the next 4 weeks in the city. I can't even explain to you how fucking bad it is.
Yeah.
And how much it's going to hurt just daily life for people to get around. So if you live in LA or you're coming to LA, plan ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Content.
Just got a notification. The Rock is on Joe Rogan.
Oh.
I'm going to tune in.
That is cool.
Wonder what he's talking about.
Tequila?
Maybe.
Very interesting. All right. I was talking about Dominic's soccer last week. And so I got a lot of DMs about parents saying like, oh, send me the drills. Blah, blah. I'm like, my drills are irrelevant, right? I'm 3 drills I remember from the one time I had a coach. But Tommy Thompson, who plays for the San Jose MLS team, actually DM'd me and said, check out my YouTube. It's at Tommy Thompson. I'll share the link in my Instagram. And here are a mix of some drills. He's like, my dad played in the 1984 Olympics. Same drills he took me and my brothers through. We all ended up pros. So here you go, giving you the playbook. If your kid wants to play soccer, check out Tommy Thompson's YouTube page. He has all the drills. I checked it out. So I need to get some cones. That's the one thing we're missing. But it's pretty awesome that.
So Dom's going to be a pro?
Yeah, why not?
Be great.
I just like the drills. I think it's important. Like, he just wants to kick the ball all day. I'd rather give him drills. So now I give him drills in the morning. So it's like something to look forward to. There's something to accomplish.
You know, I will say if a young kid takes any sport seriously and actually does the drills, the footwork, it's not like you're going to go pro, but you'll be a really good youth player.
Yes. And
until it separates, when it's just genetics take over.
Yeah. And for me, it's not even that. It's just the discipline. Like the discipline you develop for training for something. It's the same reason like why I like to, why I ran a marathon or did a triathlon. The discipline it required for me for a period of time to do those things is such an accomplishment, and it had such an impact on the rest of my life. So that's really why I think it's great for young people to be involved in sports.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So that's my content. The only other content is I have been watching, I've watched Sylvester Stallone's documentary on Netflix. Amazing. Okay. If you grew up on Rocky, it's so awesome. His life story is incredible.
What's he talking about?
Just, I mean, that dude came from nothing. And then like at 30, tried to pursue becoming an actor, couldn't get gigs, wrote Rocky. And, you know, he didn't sell the rights to it. He said he had to direct it. He had to act in it. He owned the rights to it. He went on to go do, 50 Rockies and Rambos and just a pretty amazing life and career. And he's smart as shit. He is not the character in Rocky. He's extremely articulate.
Yeah, I think any A-list star that has lasted as long as any of these guys, they have to be just really smart.
Yeah.
And they're insanely disciplined.
Yeah. I mean, he's still jacked.
And you hear the stories of like the Kevin Harts. They work 24 hours a day.
Yeah. They love it. All right. Shout outs. One shout out I want to start out with. It is ComplexCon this weekend.
The birth of group chat.
The birth of group chat 6 years ago, actually. So if you are heading out to ComplexCon, I'll be there.
Nice.
I think I'm going to go Saturday afternoon. So, look out for me. We did give a code. Use the code group chat, 10% off on the ComplexCon website. Shout out to Mark for that. But I think it's going to be epic. I think the Neil and Aaron and all the OG guys are back and involved. Our good friend Mark's involved. Like, they're really put together an incredible lineup. So I'm excited to go see it. And I love just going to things where it's all young people. It's always
get a pulse on the culture.
Love to see what everyone's wearing, what they're
Predict
eating.
the brands. What are the biggest brands you're going to see? Because it's a uniform.
Yeah,
at these type of events.
So I would say the hottest brand and I know this because of what I do, is Hellstar. There's a brand out of the valley called Hellstar on resale. It is hot. It is the brand.
Streetwear?
Yeah. Now that I told you, every athlete's wearing it. Every rapper's wearing it.
Who's behind it? What's the gimmick?
It's just really well marketed. They've done a good job of like creating hype. It's like the new, it's like a kind of like what a gallery department, how it started, and now gallery department's
it must be expensive if athletes are wearing it.
Oh yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's hard to get. But I would say that is specifically in Southern California, in LA area, that's for streetwear kids, that's the brand.
I have a question. I got a DM. I was looking for it. That's why I was on my phone. Must work at Fanatics asked to come to listen into one of the pods. He asked what jersey you want, and I didn't know. I was like, maybe CJ Stroud as a gift.
Any sport?
Any sport. DM me again because I can't find the DM.
What sport? Let me get a USC one.
Really? Come on.
I get 11, Matt Leinart.
Aren't you Matt Leinart? Sure. But you're a front runner. USC, you got to ditch USC again.
Yeah, I mean, but are they good at basketball now?
They lost yesterday.
Okay, so fuck them.
But they have the point guard. He's going to go. He's number one prospect.
I don't care about individuals. I need team wins.
What's the jersey? CJ Stroud seems like the bandwagon you want to be on. Young.
I know, it's just not clear. I'd probably get Jalen Hurts.
Oof.
First place. I need first place. I can't go with like 5-5 CJ Stroud. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah, there you go. There's
Jalen Hurts, I think, is number 1 too. I like the number. I like that 1. All right, next shout out from Eric Jagers. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Kelly, on the incredible birth of our daughter, Vera Lynn. Thank you so much for making me a father. I'm so proud of how strong you were over the last 9 months. Hashtag proud girl dad.
Well, we know he's listening because he's not sleeping.
Yeah. If you just had a baby, yeah, it's over.
A lot of podcasts.
Yeah. Shout out to you. Having a baby is an incredible experience. Very tough, but there is a payoff. It's just like in 3 years, though. The payoff is in 3.
Soccer drills.
No, I mean, like Miles is like at 2.5 is when like he became like fun. It was very tough till then. Still tough now. And check out our friends brand Dad Gang. Hot brand. They're doing really well. And it's for all the dads out there. Next is from Kevin Weatherman. Shout out to Vinay for breaking 4 hours in the NYC Marathon. Oh, this is just a shout out competition. Vinay gave Kevin a shout out. Yeah. Kevin's giving Vinay a shout out.
We talk about Vinay a lot on this podcast.
Yeah. Vinay's just a weekly shout out. Well, good for you guys. From Dan Thompson, shout out to Taylor Desson, a Kathy, on his anniversary trip right now with his lovely wife. Turned me on to group chat 2 years ago and became my must listen to podcast. We also brought a few Kathys onto our podcast, Unicorn Finders, where we talk to founders of companies at seed and Series A rounds about their products. Amazing. Well, enjoy that trip, Taylor. I'm sure a well-deserved break. From Daniel, shout out to Tao from her husband, Daniel. They recently got married a couple months back and are diehard group chat listeners. Found them during COVID and haven't stopped listening to every episode. All right, shout out, guys.
Yeah, shout out.
Where are you guys living? Where you listen to us? Let us know. We want to know where everyone's located. All right, Kathys, that's all we have. Have an incredible weekend. If you live in LA, just no reason to go anywhere. Just cancel all your plans for the next month. Have a great weekend.
Peace.